walk a mile in my shoe. Roger Dean, Mother Winters wants you to come to her office, the matron told me as I walked into the television room at the orphanage. But it's still dark outside now and I'm already in my pajamas, I told her. You get your ugly little 8-year-old ass upstairs and put your shoes on and do as you're told, young man. I ran upstairs as fast as my little legs would carry me, and I grabbed my shoes and socks from beneath my bed. After putting on my socks and left shoe, I found that I could not untie the hard, tight knot from my right shoestring. Using my teeth, I tried with all my might to untie the difficult knot, but it just would not loosen. "Where are you at?" screamed the matron. "It's my shoe. I can't get it untied, Miss Ma'am," I hollered back as I shook my shoe in disgust. "Forget that damn shoe and get your little ass over to the dining room, and I mean right now." I sat there almost in tears. I did not know what to do. If I wore just my socks and no shoes, I'd get a beating. If I wore only one shoe and 2 socks, I'd get a beating. I was scared and I didn't know which decision I should make so that I wouldn't get into trouble. As I jumped up from the floor, I had decided to wear both my socks and wear only the left shoe and carry the right shoe in my hand so that I could explain the dilemma to the head matron, Mother Winters. After arriving at the dining room, I carefully walked down the long, dark, scary hallway to Mother Winters' bedroom office. Carefully, I knocked on her door and I waited. "Is that you, Roger Dean?" she answered. "Yes, ma'am, Mother Winters, ma'am." "Come on in and sit down on the end of my bed," she instructed. Carefully, I walked into her bedroom and I sat down on the edge of her large bed. "Mother Winters, I didn't mean to be bad this time, but I couldn't get my shoestring untied and I had to carry my shoe in my hand with me," I mumbled out. "What?" she yelled at me through running shower water. "My shoe!" I yelled back. All at once, the bathroom door opened, and there stood Mother Winters smiling at me. Seeing that her housecoat was slightly open, I turned my head to the side. "Why are you turning your head?" she asked me. No reason at all," I quickly responded. "Roger, are you turning your head because you can see inside my housecoat?" "I didn't want to see nothing dirty, Miss Ma'am." "Are you saying that I'm dirty?" "No, ma'am, Mother Winters. I wouldn't say nothing like that about you." "Come here, young man," she said, as she motioned with her finger for me to walk to where she was standing. As I stopped in front of her, she opened her housecoat, exposing the entire front of her naked body. I just stood there afraid to move a muscle. Slowly, she reached out and pushed my head into her stomach and told me to take in a deep breath. After taking in a deep breath, I just stood there waiting for her next statement. "Do I smell dirty?" she asked me. "No, ma'am, Mother Winters. I didn't mean that you were dirty. I just meant that I didn't want to see anything dirty." Slowly, she pushed my head back and stood there smiling at me. I just stood there smiling at her. "What's this about your shoe?" "I can't get it untied and I got it in a real tight knot." "Why don't you take your shoes and socks and set them over in the corner by the doorway?" I sat down on the floor and began removing my shoe and socks. I watched as she removed her housecoat, let it fall to the floor, and then she climbed up onto the bed. I stood up, placed my shoes by the doorway, and I just stood there. "Well, come up here and lay down next to me," she instructed. With my eyes closed, I climbed up onto the bed and I laid my head down on the pillow next to her. Carefully, she reached out, took my head in her hands, and laid my face onto her chest. "How do I smell?" she asked. "You smell like real good clean soap, Mother Winters." "That's nice, isn't it, Roger Dean?" "Am I going to get into trouble for not wearing my shoe?" "We'll worry about that later on. Right now, you just lay there, okay?" "Yes, ma'am, Mother Winters," I said. I lay there, my little eyes closed, feeling the motion of her body vibrating and twisting back and forth, doing whatever it is adults do when adults do whatever it is adults do when they do what they do. When it was all over and done, Mother Winters untied the hard knot in my shoestring and allowed me to return to my dormitory. As I walked in the darkness, I smiled and I was so glad that I had not got a severe beating with the green bamboo pole or the dreaded sandpaper bolo paddle for getting my shoelace tied in a knot. I was so very happy because it turned out to be a wonderful day of my life after all. Or did it?